listening to Smashing the Party. This is your host, Nate Baumberger.
Welcome, everybody. The state of the world. It's been a while. 2 assassination attempts, 1 on sectional, unfortunately was successful. because of that? Now you probably can hear me, but it sucks.
No.
No.
There we go. There we go. Hold on. Let me
Yeah, but that's the shitty sound.
go ahead. Give me a check 1, 2.
All right, well, fuck it. I'll just do it that way. I guess you can hear me now, right?
Give me a second.
Yeah, you can. It probably sucks.
Okay. Yeah, you're fine. You sound fine.
Really? It sounds good?
Yeah, it sounds fine. I mean, it's a little bit like from a volume perspective, but I can still hear you.
Fuck. How's it better now? Better now? Better now? No?
Better now? Better now?
All right.
That's me at full volume. Yeah, you're good.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Yo, guys. I'm sorry about that. My fucking sound wasn't working again. I'm so sorry, guys. Ugh. I didn't pull the mic cord. Fucking shit. The fucking sounds. I'm going through my MacBook now, so I'm just gonna go. Sorry, guys. I'm about ready to, I was going off too. All right, good. Let me just, do this real quick so I can cut it. Fuck, I was on a roll too. Damn it. Fuck. All right. Let me just do this again. This is only for fucking.
You're listening to Smashing the Party. This is your host, Nate Bomberger.
All right, you fuckers can hear me now? Fuck. So, listen. All right, I'm going to start this over. It's all right. State of the world. Oh, just to delete that first part. If you were here during that whole thing, and I don't know why my sound's not working through the Roadcaster. For some reason, my sound's not working through the Roadcaster. I even set up early. Welcome to the party. Fuck. All right, listen. First off, I'm going to start off. I'm going to do this again, just like I just did it the first time. And I'm going to tell you that the reason it's taken me a while to get back online and do a live was because I was dealing with tinnitus. And tinnitus is some nasty shit. Real nasty shit. And I had it for about 3 weeks. And if you don't know what it is, it's ringing in your ear. And so, I mean, I'm a high anxiety person, and tinnitus essentially triggers your fight or flight. So I was waking up every day, panic attack all day, and not, just hearing this ringing. Obviously, the headaches start, all the cortisol's cranking through my bones, my body. And I mean, I'm just literally operating in fight or flight mode for 3 fucking weeks. 3 fucking weeks. No shit. So I had to take a break and I had to step away from like pretty much everything for a little bit. And so there's a lot that happened since I stepped away, including a half hour fucking of good shit that I left go because I had no sound. But I wanted to say that to everybody because today's probably the first or second day that I've had in 3 weeks where I can speak. And I say that because it's so debilitating that you're just in panic mode, and it was really foggy. So I started off the show before when I was talking to Silence, where thanks for calling. Somebody called me. It was like, "Yo, dude, you're silent." I was really deep into it. But I wanted to share that with you because it's been probably the scariest 3 weeks of my life. And it turns out there's nothing severely wrong with me other than tinnitus. But if you start Googling tinnitus, you can see people get suicidal. And it's because there's a ringing going on in your head and you can't escape it and you wake up to it. And I mean, I have it going on right now. I'm on medication to deal with the fight or flight. So I'm much better, but it is a scary thing. I don't know if I'll ever hear sound the same way, to be honest with you, because they say it can be chronic and I may have this the rest of my life. It's a nightmare, but we're dealing with it. And I'm, like I said, today was the second day where I felt really good and I wanted to get online since there's been so much going on. So look, if you're still here, I apologize profusely for that half hour, 20-minute rant where you didn't hear me. I promise I can reproduce the passion because I was really getting into the thick of it when I got the phone call and I decided to take it because that's my boy. Thank you, Neil. If the sound is weird, I apologize because I'm kind of running through a mic that I'm not familiar with. So hopefully you can at least hear me. Um, but anyway, I wanted to get that elephant out of the room. I've been playing replays and I've been trying to make them topical. I played Simone Biles yesterday, but there's been a lot going on and I really, really wanted to feel good today and get on. And so I appreciate you guys' patience and I apologize that I wasn't live recently, but let me tell you something. I wouldn't wish tinnitus on Donald Trump or anyone. I wouldn't want to wish it on my worst enemy. And he's not my worst enemy, by the way. He's not my worst enemy. He's a man I don't want to be president. I want to be clear. I do not advocate violence against anybody, especially political violence, unless it's violence in a ring and it's UFC stuff like that. Sure, go at it. But again, don't wish this on anybody. Yo, it's the real deal. And I was panicking mode for a while. Now, I don't want to talk about that. I have a placard that kind of indicated what I want to talk about, but I need to get that out of the way because it's scary. And I was like every day kind of gritting my teeth and like holding on to every day. I'm not kidding. I mean, it was very tough. I wasn't suicidal at all, but I will tell you, like, you go through the motions of kind of thinking the worst when your brain's ringing for no reason all the time, all the time, all the time. It's Google it. I'm now part of 20 million people that have it. I am hoping it's not chronic. I'm going to hope that I can get through it, but I can manage it. And like I said, I'm talking. I wasn't able to talk like 4 days ago coherently. Yesterday and the day before, and then Monday, I had some coherency. By the way, Todd, I was coherent on that call, but it's been a tough run. Anyway, enough about me. I'm good. If you're concerned, I appreciate it. Send me love, send me good energy. If you got ideas, great. By the way, I'm on sound therapy. I have headphones on right now playing music at a very light speed that kind of counters the high pitched sound that I have. So it's kind of like a soothing music that's in the background that I may have to live to, which is mind blowing. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have headphones. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have modern technology. I honestly don't know what I would do if I didn't have Google to figure out some solutions to get through it for these last 3 weeks. Total fucking hell. I had prostatitis. I'm just throwing out my HIPAA fucking shit right now. Prostatitis, I'll take it. It's where fucking your prostate swells up. Fuck that. I'll take that over tinnitus any day of the week. Because everyone looks at me and thinks I'm fine. I can walk around, I can talk, but there's just so much going on with my body saying, hey, there's an emergency. Non-stop. Anyway, all right. Enough about it. The fact that I can talk about it means I'm pretty good, guys, by the way. So please, I appreciate your concern and love. You're talking to a healing man, and it feels good. And there's so much more important things to talk about. Let me get into it. The thing that I was trying to say before when you couldn't hear me was that, there's been two assassination attempts, one on Trump, one that was successful with Sonia Massey. And that's what I was really getting into. And then, since I was gone. Let's see what else happened. Joe dropped out. Kamala Harris is now a contender. And Trump apparently doesn't like black people. And JD Vance is not having sectional relationship with anything but his wife. Those are the rumors. The reason I say all those things is because there's been a lot of going on since I was able to get on live, and I've kind of been playing these things, wishing I could be coherent on this. So hopefully I'll be coherent tonight. Thank you, Neil, for letting me get the sound correct. All right, let me get into it. Thanks for listening to my little diatribe about what's been going on. Look, I don't need, if you want to send nasty messages and wish me, I'm a member of a couple private groups where people probably don't like me, and they do watch this show. And I will tell you, this is off limits to joke about. It was absolutely a nightmare, and I don't wish it on anybody. So I wish anyone that has this heals. You're walking around as a zombie. Anyway, all right. So I want to talk about Sonia Massey. I also want to kind of talk about Kamala Harris and kind of her trajectory. And then when I talk about Kamala Harris, I want to really kind of focus on some of the attack lines that I think are coming out of the Trump side. And then I also want to just touch on Trump's recent appearance in front of the National Black Conference of Journalists that I think that happened today. So let's start off with Sonia Massey assassination. Thank God Trump was not assassinated. I thank God only because out of respect, that's just the easiest thing. I should say thank Ganesh or thank the Sith Lord. I happen to be a Jedi, whatever. But my point is that thankfully nothing happened with him. Now, there's been a lot of discussion. I've actually been following Dan Bongino. I don't like Dan Bongino's politics, but I will say in this line of expertise, I will listen to him. He was a Secret Service agent. And so even though he goes off the deep end, I like the specialty knowledge that he has, even though I have to filter it through his perspective. And so, but following that, there is a lot of crazy stuff that happened that I think people should answer to of why that person was able to get so close to Trump. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. I don't give a shit. I'm not chasing conspiracy theories, but I followed some of the shit that Dan Bongino was saying. And quite frankly, he's bringing up some valid points on this issue alone. The conspiratory things suggesting that it was planned by the Biden administration's way off base. But I think there's a lot of incompetency that went around that. That's valid conversation, and Democrats shouldn't run from that. I think that those are conversations where we deal with reality. And again, one of the biggest things Democrats have done recently is by dealing with reality is saying, hey, Joe Biden's too fucking old. And this is fantastic. I mean, this really is the defining moment for Democrats saying, hey, look, we're not going to live in delusional world. He's too old. We're going to replace him. Anyway, so I'm actually happy about it. But the assassination attempt on Trump was unsuccessful. It warrants investigation. People should be held accountable. I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican. Done. The assassination successful attempt on Sonia Massey that we get to watch from fucking a police cam is terrifying. It should terrify Republicans and conservatives. That's tyranny right there. That's the arm of the government. For me, the most difficult thing to understand from Republican perspectives is how they simultaneously back gun rights as a mechanism to fight tyranny, yet they simultaneously back the instrument of tyranny used by the government, which is police. So they're like, hey, you know what? We back the government tyrannizing people, but we need to make sure we can tyrannize back enough. I don't know. It's just confusing. And I'm not saying police are bad. But my concept, for me at least, the concept of police means that there is a security issue. In in a society that's, perfect utopian society, we wouldn't have police, right? So I know that's utopia, but how do we get there? More police isn't getting there. That's not getting there. So if we can figure out how to reduce police, we can get closer to that. It's a lot of nuance for some of you fucks that are going to say, oh, you want to defund the police. No, I don't want to defund the police. It's just a concept of like a long-term thinking concept, maybe a macro concept you can't fucking grasp of what society should look like and how you get there. You don't get there by adding more security apparatus. There's so many fucking scientific sci-fi movies about this shit. It's like, we know what's going to happen and we roll into it anyway. Orwell's been preaching this shit for years. And just about every book he talks about this bullshit, you know? So it's like crazy to think that we're going to build our perfect utopian society by adding more security apparatus to defend against the derelicts that we're creating because of the capitalist society, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, but truly, this person called for help. The reason this show started was kind of got motivated to talk online and just put my shit out there was watching the George Floyd or closing my eyes and while George Floyd was choked out. And this execution's way more brutal in my, it's way more, I mean, it's just, it's disregarding her life completely. This is the person that called for help and now she's executed, so much so that he didn't even want to offer CPR. I don't give a fuck if you're a cop or not. You should be out there condemning this. This reflects on your whole industry. Now, of course, the union has backed away from him. Cops are talking about how awful this was. But my Lord, if you're a black person in this country, this is too fucking familiar. This is too many goddamn times. And so I would love to see if Republicans really want to capture the black vote for real, talk about defunding, talk about reducing police force, or talk about doing things to reduce the threat of death from police to black people. Instead, you have Donald Trump in front of this panel of journalists talking about immunity for cops in certain scenarios, depending on how it looks or whether or not, you know, if it's a close call and he just made a mistake. If they just made a mistake, then I think they should have, hey, people make mistakes. So, oopsies, my gun went off and shot the person. Oops, I made a mistake. Immunity. He said this in front of a panel of, basically a bevy of a gaggle of journalists at a conference, all black journalists for the most part, and said it with a straight face when they were asking him how he would deal with the prosecution of somebody that had executed a person just like Donald, like this fucking thug did of Sonia Massey. So that to me is news. Now, simultaneously, while that's happening, you have people losing their shit about some fucking Olympics bullshit. Literally, like, oh my God, I'm not watching the Olympics because they did some Greek god shit. Oh, surprise, surprise, they did some Greek god shit. But it looks like the Last Supper. You mean the painting? It looks like the fucking fictional painting. The painting that somebody made up of white Jesus at a fucking table and all that shit. You mean somebody's making fun of that? What the fuck? It's such a circular thing. Meanwhile, this execution is kind of falling away to just be another side show or side thing that we're going to talk. Oh, that's bad. It's awful. Don't watch that. Make a couple comments, but I stand up for. I'm going to ban the Olympics. I'm going to ban the Olympics from my house because they showed a fucking little artistic representation that I took personal. I took it personal. I don't see any of these people talking about Sonia Massey, and they don't give a fuck. I can guarantee it. I can guarantee that this isn't something that they're like, you know what? We really need to look at police violence against black people. I've never seen any of them say that. They won't say that because that's part of the apparatus that makes them safe. Black people are the threat to a lot of these folks. That's how it feels. I don't see how Republicans overcome that. And today at the fucking conference, Trump basically sealed it. I mean, go watch that video. You can be a Trump fan and watch that video. You're probably like, oh, he killed it. He killed it. It didn't sound like that to the audience. I can tell you that. If you're watching it, you think he did a good job battling the fucking women journalists that were questioning him. If you think that was good and that's going to make him look good in the eyes of folks that have color, folks that live with this oppressive fucking system that fucking has, according to Mike Pence, doesn't exist, you're out of your fucking mind. I tell you right now, that landed like a thud. His interview sucked. And all this idea that Trump had this black vote, total fabrication bullshit. Yes, there are black people that are going to vote for him because they don't know any better and they're fucking looking at the power and and trust me, they're not voting for their self-interest. They're voting because they like the idea of Trump. I'm sorry if you're one of those people, you like the idea of Trump. You don't really know what the fuck he stands for. You don't care. You just like the idea of a strong man and you don't like the idea of a woman, and Democrats are pussies, and maybe you don't fucking understand transgenders, and so you're like, fuck that. All that woke shit's too complicated for me. Feelings. I'm a Trump guy. I'm a Trump guy. It's like some alpha fucking position to support this clown, a rapist. For Christ's sake, he's liable for rape. So for me, today, the intersection of all these things, by the way, I'm kind of, you're probably like, Nate, you're all over the place. No, this all intersects for me. Okay. This is my identity. I live, I may not sound like I'm urban for what, people like to say, oh, you're not really black and all this shit. Fucker, fuck. Is there a fucking like little, well, when you go to eat carpet and they have the little fucking spectrum of colors is like, oh, Nate qualifies. You're at the right level. I qualify when I'm in a cop car and when a cop's following me and I'm scared of my life. I know how fucking black I am. Trust me. Don't fucking I don't not gonna don't take it personal. It's just crazy to think that people can kind of assess your level of blackness. Right now, today at this conference, Trump made the case that, well, I didn't know she was black. I didn't know she was black. She used to be Indian, and then all of a sudden she decided to be black. A couple years ago, he said this at this conference, as if we can go, you know what? I'm gonna be white this week. For me, I'm just gonna be white Nate. I'm white Nate because I'm half white. I'm just gonna roll out my white identity, as if that's something that people do. The people that do that typically end up being looked at as crazy. We know some. The chick that was running the black BLM that was white that had the weird dysmorphia where she thought she was black in her head and all that shit. Okay, that exists, but it's not common. But Trump declared on stage that this person isn't, that just recently became black. And why is that important? It was during the same time they're talking about these questions about police brutality and whether or not they should get immunity. He lumps it all together. He just thinks it's all a subspecies to him or somebody else, a demographic. He's like, I love the blacks. He said this in front of this panel. He's like, they're coming over the border, massive, crazy rapists taking black jobs. And so finally someone's like, hey, what's a black job? He's like, well, any job. No, he's talking about the jobs, the low end jobs, the jobs he thinks that black people should have. That's what's implied. Don't fucking tell me otherwise. You're not a Trump interpreter any more than I am. And that's how I interpret it. And it makes sense because that's his MO. It's not like this person's walking around going, I'm a Satan, and every now and then they let something slip and it's a gaffe. It's consistent language. Consistent language. But anyway, so let me just make sure I'm on top. I really get frustrated with the Sonia Massey thing because if you watch the video, you can see that it's an execution, and the fact that his colleagues were kind of like, yeah, they were weirded out by it, but it was kind of like, all right, let's just shuffle around and do. I watched another video the other day where a cop just punches somebody while they're cuffing him, and just kind of his partner just kind of acts like it's no big deal, and then just they throw him in the car. And then, I get pulled over. I get beat up by the cops in Lancaster. The cops tell my wife they did a fucking chest pump on me because I got beat up by the cops and they fucking lied about it in this fucking city by Rick fucking Mendez, who I used to work with, by the way. That's why I have no respect for the guy. I used to work with him at fucking Recon. I know exactly the type of person. He's weak character, not a strong person. I actually talked to him about the ends. He said, yeah, I'll help you. Didn't answer the fucking call. So fuck him too. I don't have a lot of respect for people that don't stand by their word and can't stand up for the people that don't have power. And he's one of those people. And every single time I watch a fucking cop execute somebody, I'm like, how the fuck are we standing for this? How is this okay? How are people not rioting in the streets? This is a citizen that was killed by a cop when they called for help. Yeah, it was in another state. Yeah, it was a black person. Doesn't that enrage you? It should enrage you. But instead, you know what enrages you? The fucking opening ceremony to the Olympics is what you're getting off your fucking duff and voting for Trump for. That's what I see. That's how I see folks that represent this idea of Christianity today. They have self-interest, but it's not about other people. And that's the block that's really keeping Trump alive, is this evangelical folks that suggest that their love and their piousness and their support of God-given Trump overcomes everything, and anything else that's not Trump doesn't really matter. So an execution, who fucking cares? That's what it appears to me, and that's what appears to the world. That's why you look like whiny babies. That's why you always have persecution complex, is because it's hypocrisy front and center. Your support of Donald Trump is fucking hypocrisy. But to see this twist between Republicans, their beliefs, and how they back government on one hand, or they back, they're anti-government the other, yet they're so pro-government that they'll support the apparatus that is used against citizens. When are they going to fucking reconcile? This is why I say they don't have any real fucking agenda. It's just controlling power, tax cuts, and maintaining status quo so people can get richer. That's the fucking Republican agenda. And you can see it codified in Project 2025. So for me, all my tinnitus and all my bullshit I've been dealing with, I'm just raging at all the chaos because it's like, how is this even still a real thing that we're looking at this candidate Trump and saying this is a viable person? We're looking at this party, their agenda, and saying this is acceptable to America. I challenge Republicans to talk about policies that have helped people, normal people, not get rid of the alphabets, not do this or that, not deregulation. Deregulation doesn't help you. I actually had somebody tell me, like, oh, well, Republicans are pro deregulation. I'm pro deregulation. Why? You're fucking working at a company. What's that do for you? Like, what's the deregulation do for you? It's just weird buzzwords that they capture and they're like, oh, I sound smart because I say these things without any real thought about the consequence of it. That's the other frustration with me for everything that's going on is there's no thought. I had a conversation with somebody online. Every fucking response was a fucking meme. Like they don't have any concept of real depth in their thought process. It's just us against them, my team, the other team sucks. Right now, the biggest thing that frustrates me is the whole Kamala Harris is undeserving, continually saying she's undeserving. They're using her gender. They're saying, oh, you know, she's a DEI hire. She was basically put there because of her color. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? When is somebody put into the second highest power position of the world in America based on their color? Like, what the fuck? You mean you're meaning, and I swear people say it with a straight face, she's accomplished nothing. So let's just say your daughter's Kamala Harris, or your daughter has the same trajectory as her, and she's vice president. Someone comes up to you and say, your daughter's vice president? She hasn't accomplished anything. How stupid does that sound? That's exactly what you sound like. You could say, you know what, I don't like the things she's done here or that, but to suggest she hasn't accomplished anything says that you believe she's undeserving. Why is she undeserving? She's a DEI hire. She got there because of her color. Let me tell you something. Trump is the fucking guy that got there because of his color. There's no chance in hell any person with that same record could get where he's at. There's no, like, think about a black person that has the exact same mirror image track record of Trump. Bankruptcies, banging hookers, banging porn stars, cheating on wives, scandals, scams, charity scams, all this shit. And we're going to say, you know what? That's a person's a man of God. They're fucking going to get up there. We're going to support him. And I mean, there's no chance. So it's really the opposite. Trump is the fucking DEI. He's the fucking privileged hire. He's the one that got there only because of his whiteness. That's it. That's it. There is no other qualification he has to be where he's at. So it's hard to argue with people that don't go that far when they think about things that they say. They just say, oh, she hasn't done anything. She slept her way to the top. So she slept her way to the top, but you're willing to vote for a rapist. Got it. How the fuck is this? How does this not like cross, like your head just kind of, like, why doesn't your head start ringing? And I know I don't wish that on anybody. Trust me, I do not wish tinnitus on even the folks that are that stupid to believe that Donald Trump and his sexual liaisons somehow are insignificant compared to Kamala Harris, who has apparently done her deed to the top. I mean, it's insane. They say the same thing, and they speak out of a forked tongue, as maybe somebody might have said someday that thought of snakes while they were talking. Anyway, I'm a little fired up, but where's the intersection between everything I'm saying? Well, you have this racial component that exists today, and every time we have a candidate of color, it's going to be front and center. I'm not saying it has to be, but it will be because she has an experience that's different than everybody else. She understands more so my experience as a black person in this country than she would understand a white person's experience. And you can say, oh, she had this or she did that and she was successful. You know what? I see a person who networked well. That would be, I mean, the fact that she's dated people and networked her way around the world. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not even suggesting she got to where she's at only by networking. I'm just saying, if it were a man, it would just be like, okay, cool. They slept with some supermodels. They did. No one would say he slept in the top. You know what else it assumes when you say she slept her way to the top? It assumes that a man's at the top. It assumes a man is at the top. That's the most fucked up thing about when people say, "Oh, she slept her way to the top." So you're saying a man is at the top. We know that's true, but that framing is just so fucked up. How about she got her way there because she hard worked and she negotiated, she made friends, she made connections, all that fair game. There's a man at the top that somebody's got to sleep with. That's what you're saying. And she's undeserving because of her color. She's undeserving. Now, you also have the line of attack, which is a little bit more, I guess, nuanced, which is saying she's a border czar. I had to look it up. I didn't even know she was a border czar. But this is resonating with Republicans that she's a border czar. They're like, did you know she's a border czar? And I'm like, okay. So I'm just like, okay. I didn't know she was a border czar. She's a border czar. Now what? Well, the border's on fire. I'm like, I live in fucking Pennsylvania. I don't care. But these Pennsylvania motherfuckers fighting me in my inbox are like, you don't care that they're coming in? I'm like, who's coming in? Brown people? No, bring them in. I don't give a fuck. Hell, why the fuck would I care? It's weird, the territorial things that people will say. Even liberals, like, well, we have to. I don't give a fuck about border to Mexico. I don't care. What about Canada, the Canadian border? One of the things that Kamala Harris was charged with was trying to figure out ways of preventing people to get to the border through economics, through whatever means necessary. So that's true. But there's actually another gentleman. There's a whole article that talks about who was in charge of the border, and it wasn't Kamala Harris. She was charged with working with countries down in Central America and South America to figure out how she could prevent the migration. So that's not specifically working with the border. That's where the nuance gets fucking confused. And you say, well, and they'll just jump and kind of say, that's what I meant. Well, anyway, it's still her fault. No, you know whose fault the border problem is? There was a bill in Congress that was ready to go, ready to be signed, sealed, and delivered. Donald Trump came along and told Republicans to sabotage it. Go online, look it up, look at Republicans bitching and saying, this is bullshit. We have a bill. It's ready to go. This would give us the security we need. And Donald Trump said, no, don't do it. I want credit for it. Let's not give Joe Biden credit. Don't make it happen. That's the truth. And now they're using that line of attack to say Kamala Harris is the border czar and it's her fault the border's all fucked up. Again, the dichotomy that these folks have, the ability to kind of split their brain in half and simultaneously support two positions at a time, beats anything we've seen in quantum physics of superposition. I swear to God, it's amazing because they're simultaneously having two positions and they advocate for both of them, even though they're both conflicting, repelling against each other. They say it with a straight face and they have no idea that they look like complete fools. And it's absolutely mind-blowingly frustrating living in a world where people don't see that as being a problem. I'm sure you can relate with that. I know I'm a little on fire tonight. I'm a little fired up that I did a fucking half hour without any fucking sound. But most of it, by the way, most of it, probably about 10, 15 minutes was me talking about my tinnitus and probably scaring the shit out of anybody that has tinnitus. Let me just go back to it and say, oh my God, it's the worst fucking thing in the world. The worst thing in the world. No shit. I didn't have the fucking iTunes and fucking Ativan. I probably would just be like spinning in circles for another 3 weeks. But anyway, I'm feeling good today. Let me just get back on topic and look at my comments. Guys, thanks for, I see everyone's commenting on the fact that I wasn't having sound. Sorry, I'm really sorry about that. It's been a while since I went live. We'll fix it in post. But it was important for me to just kind of address the Sonia Massey thing and create some kind of link right now. To me, that's important. That's important. That's life. Somebody's life has been taken, being taken. And as a black person, we see this happening all the time. We now have a black female president, possible presidential contender, hoping president. We have Donald Trump attending this National Association of Black Journalists and saying these things about Kamala Harris and her heritage, and simultaneously defending the fact that he wants to give cops immunity. cops immunity that make mistakes was his specific argument that, you know what, the Massey shooting looks bad. I'm not sure. It looks like that guy did a bad thing, but mistakes are made. And I don't think anyone should have to pay a price for a mistake. If it's a mistake and they didn't try it, then they should get immunity. This is what we're living with. So for me, I'm just like, I'm spinning. I'm just like, okay, okay. So my friends, my family, people that I talk to on a daily basis, people that shake my hand, they support this man who wants to increase the likelihood that people will take up arms against me that are agents of the government and fucking kill me. And that sounds conspiratorial, but what else is it? What else is it? Hey, I need help. I call the cops. They come and shoot me. And they now have immunity. I mean, where does that go? What if Trump says, you know what? Let's execute people. I want the cops to do it. Execute everyone's firstborn. By the way, as president, you now have immunity. You could do that. You could pull some fucking Old Testament shit and say, execute the firstborn of every child. Those cops could go out and execute the kid and have immunity. I know you're saying that's crazy. That's crazy, Nate. Is it? Is it that crazy? We just in the last year or two got presidential immunity. Trump's pushing for immunity for cops. I'm not conspiratorial. I'm telling you the natural effect of things is then people will have power and suggest crazy things and say it's justified. Look, oh, they're just walking the edge. Okay, look, you can't kill babies. You know, maybe babies too much, but you can kill a teenage boy if they're posing a threat. They're running at you, maybe. Oh, yeah, he was running at me. I'm clean. Cool. Was he running at me? Who knows? My camera was off. Like the Lancaster police who have no camera of my beating. They have no camera of that. They have my fucking crazy in the cell, I'm sure, but no camera on the beating. I shit you not. I shit you not. This fucking town has some shady fucking cops that lie. And I'm not going to call them out by name because karma is a bitch. And I think that I don't have to do anything but live my life and be friendly and loving as much as I can and caring and empathetic and nasty when I need to be. I'm not a vengeful person. I don't have any vengeance against the cops. But I will say that people that live the way those folks live in a lie and it's part of their job and they lie as part of their job, it's only a matter of time before they make a mistake and they're caught. It's only a matter of time before they fuck with the wrong person. The only reason I didn't take it further is because they basically trumped up charges that to suggest that I was the violent person. True story. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. I hope they're fucking watching because I got a big fuck you and I ain't having it today. What I did learn from having tinnitus is that, you know, I was thinking that I was going to die for many moments. For about 3 weeks, I was thinking I had brain cancer and tumors. And I promised myself when I came out of it, I would not give one fuck. And I'm out of it. And I will tell you, I have no fucks to give. I don't know how long I have on this planet, but I don't give a fuck. And I will say this from here on out. Uh, I'm not going to attack people personally, locally, but I'm not going to allow the bullshit that I saw happen to Sonia Massey and not have people in this community talk about it or at least acknowledge the fact that we need to do something about the police presence in this fucking town. And I see the fucking mayor throwing money at the fucking police enrages me. I'm okay with $150,000, I guess, for a toilet. But I will say that the fucking chief pick, I don't know why they even picked the chief Mendez. He doesn't even fucking speak Spanish, and he's a fucking moron. But he has no, he's that's not someone who's going to do any kind of justice to the city. That's the type of person that if something like that happened in this city, he would cover it up. And I can say that with a straight face because they did the same thing about the shit they did to me and made me look like the bad guy in front of the judge. So this is real shit. And I, you know, I have no fucks to give. I'm just gonna say it because you know you tell me that I'll tell you this, like put someone in a room and put a ringing bell in their ear for fucking 3 weeks, you will drive them crazy. So maybe it did something, but it definitely empowered me to say, look, when I'm healthy, I need to be able to say what I say, and no matter how much time I have on this earth, I need to speak the truth. And the truth is we're in a space right now we can make an important decision on how we want to like take this world, take this country. And in my opinion, it's imperative we elect this black woman so we can keep these kind of issues front and center. They're not front and center, and it's where the fucking rubber meets the road. This is literally the government killing people. And we're watching it, and we see it. You can find You can follow people on Instagram that document this day after day, the engagements that cops have with black people. I watched an engagement with a white person the other day where the guy didn't roll down his window, said, I'm not going to answer any questions, drove through a DUI checkpoint, and basically said, look, I'm not going to say anything unless presence of my attorney, and used all these language. And the cop let him drive through the DUI attorney. In the comments section, it was like, do not try this, black people. This will not work for you. True story. We know that. You can laugh, but that's true. It's true. And you're okay with that. Anyone that sits there and says, okay, Nate, you're just bitching about it, fuck you. This is my life. This is how I've had to live my life. And now I'm living a life of anxiety. I got fucking ringing in my ears because constantly under the threat of every fucking thing in this world. I'm not paranoid, by the way. I'm healthy. I'm exercising. Don't worry, I'm not going to have a breakdown. But this is the life that you have to live as a black person in this country. I don't feel safe around cops. More cops is scary as fuck to me. And so when I see somebody like Donald Trump elevated and continue to talk about how they want to provide more protection for this arm of government from the party that suggests that government is the evil, I lose my shit. I lose my fucking mind. Now, the good news, I'm not all negative. The good news is Kamala Harris is killing it right now. Republicans have no idea what the fuck is going on because they had planned for old creepy Joe, old Biden, all that bullshit. And now they've got Kamala Harris and they're like, oh shit. So they tried the line of attacks on her race. They're trying the line of attacks on how she sleeps around. Meanwhile, simultaneously supporting a rapist. And they're all falling flat. And then the JD Vance thing, I mean, the poor guy came to the race and he's already having to fight off rumors that he had sex with a sofa. And I'm not saying he did or didn't. I'm just saying those are the rumors. And I honestly don't have a problem with sectional consent, but it seems that he right now has to fight off rumors of, weird ass shit like that. So it's a crazy time to be alive. And it's going to be a crazy campaign year. But one issue I'm not going to let the gas off ever, ever in my life is suggesting that what happened to Sonia Massey wasn't an execution and that the folks that continue to support the continuation of the police state are also complicit in her murder. And I'll say that because you suggest police, you suggest people that kill black people. More police means more black people dead. And if you think that's okay, you're probably not, you're probably a Christian nationalist or a fucking racist anyway. And, may God have mercy on your soul if that's who you believe in. I don't really have much more to say about that, but let me just kind of wrap up my points because I kind of lost my momentum by losing that first 20 minutes. And I don't want to break kind of my point for today, which is that the attacks on Kamala Harris are they're struggling to land them, but they're going to get more pure. And what I mean by that is they're going to start to dog whistle really, really hard about undeserving, about the fact that she may have had connections with men that have helped her career, which is nothing. That doesn't mean she fucked them. I mean, she was a connector. So, and you're going to hear that. And you're going to hear them sneak out the racial undeserving thing while simultaneously supporting Donald Trump, who is a rapist, who's sorry, he's not a convicted rapist. He's a convicted felon. He's only liable for rape. Someone actually argued with me today on a forum about how he's not a rapist. He's just liable for rape. I'm like, oh, so that happens. Like, you're just like, oh, you know what? You didn't rape, but you're liable for it. The rape that happened, you're liable for, but you're not convicted of it. So you're not a rapist. I mean, this is the logic. You don't become liable for rape if you didn't do the rape, right? The fuck is that shit? Anyway, more of that dichotomy crazy thinking. I'm just looking at my board here to make sure I didn't lose anything. By the way, I will say I'm feeling good. I knew that as soon as I get on here that my adrenaline would kick in. And I mean, right now my ears aren't ringing. So maybe I just need to fucking stay on this stream for about 24 hours a day. And I won't have any tinnitus. True story. My ears actually stopped ringing right now for the first time in 3 weeks. So you're witnessing it. No shit. I'm not hearing ringing and it's fantastic. Maybe I just needed to let it out. We'll see it. It might come back. I'm actually come into acceptance that I may live with it for the rest of my life, and I'll be on sound therapy for the rest of my life. But so don't worry, I'm not gonna lose my mind if I do have it back. Let me see. What else do I want to talk about? Let me just check the comments, see if people are still listening. A couple people are. Thank you guys. Thanks for the sound. I'm sorry about the sound. I'm so sorry. I know it sucks. Excitement about Kamala Harris. That's what I want to talk about. So I'm excited about it. I think it's energizing. I love the fact that the Democrats took on that problem and solved it by saying, look, we're not going to live in fantasy land. We're not going to act like what you see isn't what you see. We see it too. Joe Biden is old. He's done a great job. It's time for him to step aside. No chance in any multi-universe of Donald Trump stepping down from his fucking shit for any of his crazy. It don't matter how crazy he is. He's never going to step away from that opportunity. If he loses, he will run again. I guarantee it. It doesn't matter. He will run again and again and again and again and again until he gets his second term. If that should ever fucking happen, so help Big Sky Daddy. God forbid. Anyway, all right. Let me see. What else do I want to talk about? I talked about Joe dropping out. Talk about Kamala Harris. People are excited. White men for Kamala Harris, they're going nuts. Look, all those little cliche groups I'm excited about. I love it. I'm not going to hate on it. I didn't join the call. I mean, I'm not a white guy, but I didn't join. I'm half white. I didn't join any of those calls. I'm considering going full boat into volunteer mode, but I'm not sure because it's so important that we have this election. I'm also considering using this platform as much as I can to support her, as I've been. Uh, but she's killing it right now. And I think the best thing about what Kamala Harris brought to the table was they let the Republicans, the Democrats played it like a fiddle. They let the Republicans have their convention. They let them get their bump for the announcement of JD Vance. All the while, Republicans are thinking and building their case at the convention about Sleepy Joe and Joe's too old and yada yada. It was the worst debate in history, is what Trump says, and all this stuff. And Democrats just let them do it. And then right after their convention, when they're supposed to get their bump, they're just like, boom, we're dropping out, boom, boom. And the party just went like a vacuum, just wrapped right around Kamala Harris. And it blew their mind. And you have people in my inbox saying, well, don't you care about democracy? You know that they're just, the Democrats are seizing your democracy, right? These are Republicans, by the way. They're like, doesn't it bother you that that they just like replaced your vote? Like, you're not really getting a vote, Nate. I'm like, I got a vote. I got a vote. Look, my vote is placenta versus Trump. So put placenta on the ballot. I'm voting for placenta. Oh, Kamala Harris on the ballot? Hell fucking yeah. She's the queen. I'll fucking take it. She's the VP. Yes. Not suggesting she's placenta. My point is the spectrum is wide. And now that we have a real qualified candidate, hell fucking yeah, I'm voting for it. Hell fucking yeah, I'm down for it. And what's most interesting is it shows their ineptitude. It shows their lack of understanding of the process, even their own process. The nomination doesn't happen until after the convention for both parties. So you can basically have a revolt at the convention, and the candidate that I voted for, because they found out days before that he's a pedophilia or maybe he's fucking porn stars, all the delegates decided to flip their vote and they went and they voted for somebody else. Boom. Whoever that person is, that's the nomination. I may not have had a say. That's part of how politics works in America. This is not crazy. This is how it works. So I'm a Democrat. By signing up as a Democrat, I'm saying, you know what? I support this party. So who this party nominates, I will support. That's it. It's that simple. And so whenever they do that nomination, that's who I'm going to support. Now, hopefully I get a vote in the primary, and hopefully my candidate gets through the primary to be that person that gets the nomination. But that nomination is determined at the convention, and the convention delegates and all the super delegates unify around that candidate by default, typically for the one that gets the most votes. But in the case where a candidate steps out, easy peasy. We have a solution, Kamala Harris. So you have all these different lines of attack trying to create confusion. I'm like, why are you so concerned about what's happening on our side when your side's batshit fucking crazy? Batshit crazy. Weird is the word. And let me tell you how well that attack is landing. Finally, It's been fucking weird. It's been weird since fucking Trump rolled down the fucking escalator and talked about Mexican rapists and all this shit. It's been weird every fucking day listening to that motherfucker talk with his accordion hands. It's been weird hearing people fucking blowing him and sticking their head up his ass while simultaneously he's punching him, and pulling him out and shitting on him and throwing him away. It's been totally weird. And it's finally gotten to Democrats to use that line of attack, and it's resonating. Gen Z's like, holy shit, that motherfucker's weird. Yes, he's not that fucking cool anymore, and he's looking stupider and stupider every day. The best thing Democrats can do from here on out is let Trump talk. Let him talk. Let him say dumb shit. If he wants all the oxygen in the room, let him have it. He's gonna look stupid. I'm not kidding. When left to his own devices, he fucking will basically fuck himself over and over and over. He can't help it. The best thing a journalist can do is attack him, something that's personal to him. For instance, if you watch the whole craziness that happened today, you'll see that he was really pissed off about the sound equipment not working. And so he's like keeps on throwing jabs at the one anchor saying, "Oh, you're this woman I couldn't, it's cuz her sound sucked. It's her sound. Well, her sound sucked." So is if once you find some way to get in his skin, it doesn't get out. He will forever have a vendetta. Remember, narcissistic personality disorder. He will forever have a vendetta against that woman unless she comes back with a compliment to get him back on the binary scale that his brain works on. It's either good or bad for these people, folks. Good or bad. You do not understand narcissism, and that's why you continue to vote for Donald Trump. But if you did, you would know it's textbook bullshit. I would have no problem meeting with Donald Trump, and I guarantee you, after we met with me, he would love me. He would say good things about me, even after all the shit I'm saying here. That's how fucking narcissists work. Because I would just go up to him and say, you know what, Donald Trump, that shit was fucked up. You know what, I said it, but you're the fucking man. You're the best. I actually like you, and you know what, that's just an act. And he would be like, Nate's the fucking greatest guy in the world. He would disregard all this shit because that's how they work. They're binary. And this is the person that people want to elect. We know this about narcissists. It's fucking so easy to manipulate a narcissist. And that's why it's dangerous to have Trump in office, besides the fact that he's a malignant narcissist. He's also the person that's talking about giving immunity to police when we have these executions happening on a regular basis in the United States. It's not even talking about gun rights, by the way. I mean, we're not talking about, this is an officer of the law that had a gun, right? Maybe they should have batons, for Christ's sake. How many executions happen in Britain from cops on black people? I'd love to know. I'd love to know that if this is a worldwide phenomenon. I can guarantee it's not. Anyway, look, it's good to be back. I apologize for not doing lives. Look, when I'm down and out and struggling, it's hard for me to get behind the mic. Because this is kind of something that truly, I like to think about. And I thought a lot about what I was going to say tonight. I didn't deliver everything I wanted to say, but the main points I wanted to talk about were, people are focusing on the Olympics and these weird things. And when it comes down to brass tacks, we have eyewitness of government executing a citizen, and people are kind of moved on past it. You have fringe people talking about, of course, the black community is talking about it, while simultaneously having the former president of the United States suggest that these people that kill these people on a regular basis deserve immunity because sometimes it's a mistake, while also attacking the ethnic background of the president. I don't know if you missed this or if I said this in the first clip, but at the convention, he essentially said, you know, I thought she was Indian until recently she decided to be black. That was about Kamala Harris, and of course, everyone booed him. But this is a person who does not have a filter, and when put in front of women, he struggles. To have him on, he struggled against Hillary, by the way. It's just everyone, the Republican Party had built up so much hate against Hillary that people even I know that were Democrats were like, oh, I'm not really a fan of Hillary. I'm like, just because you buy that fucking Republican bullshit. Kamala Harris doesn't have years and years of engine making of hatred. She's coming in fresh. She's got that Obama fucking feel, to be honest with you. It's excitement. Women are excited. Black men are excited. White men are excited. People are excited. So for me, Kamala Harris is fucking bringing in the fucking noise. She's bringing down the house with her energy. They're making the memes. They're making the memes work. They're landing. The Republicans aren't landing anything except for the fact that they're proving that they're a one trick pony and the only thing they can do is divide and categorize. You know, they're always throwing Democrats under the bus for categorizing people, but they've immediately categorized her as a sex worker, a DEI hire out the gate. And they also say she's the border czar, which is it's the weirdest take out of everything is the border czar because as I said, it's kind of something that resonates in their bubbles. And then when they come out with this and they talk to people that are out here, they're like, "What? You don't know she's the border czar?" I'm like, "No, I didn't know that." And well, the border's a disgrace. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I live in Pennsylvania. Lloyd Smucker's up there telling me about the border every fucking day." And I'm like, I mean, I barely even see. I just don't see it, Lloyd. I just don't fucking see the border as being a threat up here in Pennsylvania. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, worried about it. Oh, they're gonna get up here? Get the fuck out of here. You mean some family that are fucking traveling miles and miles to get freedom are going to get up to Pennsylvania and fucking hurt me? Trump actually used the word invasion today. He said it's an invasion. People seeking asylum. You saw that, right? You know why he keeps on saying crazy shit, right? He thinks about Hannibal Lecter. He thinks that asylum is synonymous with insane asylum. So he puts that, he probably did a Google search for insane asylum and then Hannibal Lecter and came up and then now he's just like talking about Hannibal Lecter because it's linked in his brain to asylum. I shit you not. It's the weirdest thing, but he's been talking about Hannibal Lecter. I can't imagine a black candidate or a woman candidate surviving the dumbass shit that he says. But here we go. So, in my opinion, the state of the world right now is Nate Bomberger is back. I'm feeling good. I've gotten through this today. I'm actually not hearing ringing, so maybe the solution was just get on live. I'm back. It's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of race baiting coming on. There's gonna be a lot of dog whistling. There's gonna be a lot of attacks slung at Kamala Harris and her record that apparently doesn't exist while simultaneously existing. And they're also going to suggest she's all powerful and part of the deep state while also being incompetent. So you're going to see these attacks. And I believe that this is the year Republicans are going to learn that they have to come up with a new playbook. The cult of personality isn't going to carry you anymore. Donald Trump is getting old. He's weird. Kamala Harris is young. She's vibrant. She's inspiring. She's like a lot of people in this country who's worked hard to get where she's at. She may not have the perfect family just like everyone else. She may not have been able to have children just like a lot of people in this country, including yours truly. So for me, Kamala Harris represents much more of America, the diversity of America and the strength of American dream than Donald Trump, who was handed $400 million by his dad and fucking basically could have put it in an index and been as rich as he is today. If he is even worth that. I don't know. Uh, but anyway, so for me, I'm not gonna, I don't need to focus on race. I am black. When people turn this channel, some people hate this fucking whole show because of what I look like. But I'm going to bring it up when I see executions of people of color. And it is important for me to put that front and center that I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with cops fucking killing people. I'm not okay with cops. I'm not okay with the idea that backing the blue is a thing. I'd like to see people talk about restraining and restricting cop power, not giving them more power. Why would you want to give cops more power? This is the instrument of the government. Conservatives, literally check your fucking self. You guys are the ones that should be fighting for this. It should be the opposite, where Democrats are fighting for more money for programs and Republicans are fighting for ways to get rid of cops because they believe in the tyranny of it. And they should somehow intersect into a good world. Instead, we've gone for the security apparatus, and you got Democrats supporting cop fucking because they're too fearful of the fucking blue vote, I guess. And you got Republicans just because they think that's the strength without thinking that it goes against their entire premise and their existence of anti-government is broken and null and void in my opinion because of that support. It's actually just a circle jerk and it's like putting a gun in your own fucking mouth. Not to be punny. By the way, tinnitus does make people crazy, as I said before, and I am not going to go crazy. Just want to reiterate because I saw somebody make a comment like, hoping you're well. And I'm like, dude, I'm good, but it was scary. So let me think what else I wanted to touch on. So I talked about JD Vance a little bit. State of the world. So, oh yeah, in closing, I'll just do it in closing. I think that this is going to be an interesting race. I do believe that Kamala Harris is the underdog here. Trump has a huge amount of support. People look past a lot of his the inaccuracies. They look past the fact that he was a rapist. They look past the fact that he was a scam artist. They look past the fact that he, as the Law and Order candidate, was impeached twice by Law and Order. They look past the fact that he has no family values. They look past the fact that he's been caught up in numerous lawsuits that are going to lead to fines of over $600 million. They look past the fact that he killed about 1 million people by just denying the fact that COVID was even a problem. They look past all that stuff because somehow he's captured their attention as a person of strength and bamboozled them into believing that he's all about them when he knows that that's the party that will have the rich, deep pockets and they will do everything they can to maintain their status quo, including backing a complete moron for a candidate. So if you're watching this, I can probably guarantee you're not one of those folks that's going to benefit from the tax breaks. Do you really support Trump because you hate Democrats that much? What do you really want from this country? If you're going to denigrate every single party that's going to try to do things, or every single candidate that says, hey, I'm going to want to do something for you, it makes no sense to me why, I mean, actually, it makes sense to me why you're so bitter. It's because nothing's going to change. And that's why everything's the same and everyone's the same and both parties are the same. It's because you vote the same way and you haven't changed your vote. Vote for a Democrat. And I'm not going to suggest Democrats vote for a Republican this time around, but I will say it should happen vice versa as well. If the candidate suits and meets your needs, back that person. Don't just go along with the party because of what they're doing. I will tell you that when Democrats shit the bed and if the party were to reverse, I'll be a Republican if they stand up for the values that I have. I don't base my values on the Democratic Party. Some of the things they do are great, and some of them aren't. The best thing about Kamala Harris, though, bringing it back to the placard, is that she can sell these ideas. She can sell these ideas. She represents America. In my opinion, she's also going to be able to be a symbol of Black America, and that will always bring people to the attention of race, and it will always be a reminder in some aspects of what Black people had to go through, considering she's shattering the glass ceiling, and that amongst us, meanwhile, while we're elevating her to the highest position, we're simultaneously killing her sisters in the street without consequences. In some case, uh, should Donald Trump be president. So it's a crazy time. It's still, every election is the most important election. We always know that. But damn it, wouldn't you love to see her on stage with Donald Trump? Come on. If you're a Donald Trump fan, you got to want to say, look, I want to see him on stage with her. I think he's going to wipe the floor with her, yada, yada, yada. Bring it. I say bring it. I'm excited to see that debate. I will watch it. I will live stream it. I will commentate or stay quiet if it's really good. But I'm excited about that. And I think that hopefully more people will be talking about this systemic murdering of people that happens, people that look like me when they call for help, people that are supposed to protect us are used against us. And for me, it's an arm of the government that continues to represent tyranny. I'd love to see my libertarian and my Republican friends who claim to be so anti government actually put their fucking mouth where it is. But we know the libertarians are the Pontius Pilates of politics. I wash my hands of it. I got no say. Look at that. You should have voted third party. When that guy gets went, look, you should have voted third party. That's what libertarians do. They're like, oh, you should have voted third party. I swear to God, that's all they can say. You got to vote third party. Vote third party. Fixes everything. Fucking idiots. Anyway, I'm not attacking you personally. If you're a libertarian, I'm attacking your fucking libertarianism. Not you, Dan. Anyway, good to be back. I feel great. I really do. I feel much better. And I think you're going to see that I will be doing more lives. But in the case where I have to do a rerun, understand I have not missed a night since April. So holla. Last thing I'll say, and in closing, is make sure you vote. It does not matter who your candidate is. Get out, participate. It's a very scary time when Melinda Gates can donate $52 million to Kamala Harris. Elon Musk can donate $45 a month to Trump, and you get a measly vote. That's something to think about. And that goes for both sides, by the way. So you need to vote. It's the only thing you got, and it's the only thing we can use. And especially when all they have is money, and their money buys votes. So don't let your vote be bought. Vote based on your best interest, or vote what's best for the country, whatever you believe, but vote. And this is even for the people on the other side. Vote. Of course, I'd love to say, oh, Republicans don't vote. But know what? That's disingenuous. I believe in democracy. Everyone should vote. And that's it's not something that you're going to hear from Republicans, by the way. I think that everyone should have plenty of time to vote, multiple days, maybe a week. Mail-in voting's fine. Make it easy for everyone. But you don't hear that from Republicans. So, as a pro-democracy person, I would love to see everyone vote. I would love to see them vote Trump away from this place. But I would also like to inform you that your vote, it does count, even though they throw all this money. Your vote is just is the last thing that actually makes it happen, and that's what they're really buying. So make yourself known at the polls. I will be back. I don't know if I wrapped right, but I do want to say thank you to everybody that kind of has been patient. I got a couple messages from people. Jason, thanks for your message. Tom, thanks for your message. I really appreciate the messages I got from folks just checking on me. I am okay. Like I said, I stumbled a little bit on my words tonight. I'm still a little bit sketchy, but I feel like 95% better than I did. And it's good to be back. And I really mean it when I say this I had some moment of peace here on this show that I haven't had in a while. So, maybe this is a de-stressor for me that I need to do more often. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow, 10:30 p.m. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for let me know about the sound. I will fix it in post. I know that was, what was that? 27 minutes of total quietness. Hopefully I made up with it and gave you some interesting content. I'm pretty passionate about the injustice stuff, and I'm not scared to fucking talk about the folks locally that are fucking it up. And there are people that are in power locally that lied and that lie. And I worry that something like Sonia Massey could happen anywhere, including in our own city. And so, you say that, you're like, Nate, that's really not nice. No, it's not nice, but it's not nice if it happens. And I've seen behavior locally that suggests this local institution could possibly easily cover up something that they didn't want other people to know. And I know for a fact that body cams simultaneously don't work depending on the scenario of what they need. And that's a fact. And it will come out. They know it. They have the receipts, and they have they can release them and let everybody know exactly what happened that night, but they won't. And so it's not about me. I'm not making it about me. But I do have, this is like 3 years ago that it happened now. So I haven't talked about it a lot, but every single time I watch an execution, I'm like, I'm lucky. The lies that they told my wife about what they did to me or were complete lies. I came home, went to the hospital, was all fucked up, and they claimed they did nothing to me. And by the way, I didn't get resisting arrest. There was no charges of resisting arrest. I didn't resist arrest. I didn't do anything. So this is a reality that we have to face. And for me, it's more important to elect Kamala Harris than ever, because I can't think or fathom of this country that I have to live in if cops have complete immunity to do whatever the fuck they want. It's just scary to me. Maybe I'm too selfish, and maybe I'm thinking about myself too much, but that's probably one of my number one reasons to vote against anything but Trump, is the idea that he's going to continue to advocate for the death of black people by suggesting that the folks that kill them, which are largely police officers, are immune from trial somehow because I don't know what. Like, oh, you got a gun and you went through 6 week fucking police academy. Now you're immune. Like, you can either be, look, you want immunity in this country, you either get lots and lots of money, you become president of the United States, or become a cop. Those are the three things where you can pretty much do whatever you want. Okay. That's what we're saying? That's what we're saying. Okay. 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 That's what we're saying. I'm fucking tired of it though. I got nothing else to say except for thanks. The numbers are insane. I've been playing some repeats and some old videos I thought were good. And I'm well over 15,000 reach on Smashing the Party, and I haven't paid a penny. And Facebook is pay to play. So that's actually fantastic. Now, I have been kind of trolling a lot of Republican places to get kind of some inner engagement, and it's really mind-numbing shit, but it does pump up the engagement. Facebook numbers are pretty fantastic. My YouTube numbers, I was at 59. Somebody dropped off the other day, so I'm at 58 again. Yo, it was nice being at 59. Whoever you are, I'm sorry that you dropped off. I'm probably guaranteeing I said something to offend you. But our goal is to get to 100, so we're not gonna. And this is on YouTube, by the way. I know 100 people to get to listen to this fucking awesome show. 100 fucking people. Are you kidding me? I know it's unbelievable. It doesn't happen. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks again for calling in. Thanks for messaging. Thanks for letting me know my sound didn't work. I'll be back tomorrow at 10:30, hopefully with sound. All right, byes. Byes. Byes.